I'm Jason Tyszko, Senior Vice President at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation. So, the three themes I would like to really touch on today are upskilling and reskilling, but doing so routinely and at scale. And this is not something that we've done particularly well in our country, but I think there's a huge opportunity for innovation, public-private partnerships, and new ways of thinking for how we can finance upskilling and reskilling to make opportunity more available to American workers and families. In addition to upskilling and reskilling, what we're going to need is number two, viable alternative pathways. For a long time, we've been, a college access in a college access paradigm, and now we're thinking outside of that box and wondering, are there other viable alternative pathways that can lead to opportunity? And just given where we are in 2020, or where we're going to be in 2025 and beyond, I think that we are going to need to meet the demand for some of these alternative pathways that provide access to good quality jobs that can allow American workers and families to achieve the American dream. So how are we going to support them? Well, it comes back to upskilling and reskilling. We need to make sure that if someone were to leave a secondary environment, or if they wanted to opt out of what they were currently doing in a traditional post-secondary education and training situation, and actually pursue more opportunities in the workforce itself, we need to make sure that there are continuing opportunities for them to build a skill set, to have those skills recognized and validated, and to be able to grow in terms of their competitiveness as well as their upward mobility. So what are some ways we could do that? Well, we think there's going to be new public-private tools that will incentivize workers to invest in their skills, not just credentials. And we think there's going to be new opportunities for employers to more directly invest in their workers themselves, particularly when it comes to upskilling and reskilling. For a long time, employers have been working to help their employees manage things like healthcare, childcare, retirement, the list goes on. But I think the big game changer now is going to be a major interest in and investment in the skills of workers. And this isn't going to be your traditional education benefits that are focusing on reimbursing for tuition and fees, but this is going to be really focusing on direct investment in skilling up opportunities, which leads us to our third point. So if you're keeping score, we talked about upskilling and reskilling routinely and at scale is number one. Number two, leveraging that to support viable alternative pathways to opportunity. And now number three is documenting learning wherever it occurs, because we can't leave any skill left on the table. We need to make sure we are recognizing, validating, and empowering workers with all of the skills that they are learning and they are demonstrating, regardless of the setting they are in. And what that essentially means is employers have the opportunity now to become the new educators. HR has the opportunity to become the new registrar. And learning and employment records have the opportunity to become the new transcript. So we need to make sure that as workers are moving, whether they're coming out of college or if they're accessing one of these alternative pathways, that we are constantly documenting and validating those skills, including skills learned and demonstrated on the job. So we need to be better at that, but how we're going to do it is not only the big change that's going to happen internally to companies, because this is going to be a big change management exercise for them to be able to document and recognize this learning in a quality and consistent way. But we're also going to need to make sure the infrastructure there is to support it. And that's a technology-based infrastructure. So how are we creating an environment where, much like you carry your wallet, you're going to have a digital wallet. It is going to contain many different records based upon all your experiences in life, whether they're learning experiences, employment experiences, community and volunteer experiences, or even military experiences. But how are we going to make sure that individuals are empowered with data about those experiences and the outcomes that resulted from them?